Alright, so today we're going to be talking about the infamous Roblox animation YouTuber known as Potemer. Now, this guy was able to create an audience with over 2.1 million followers before losing it all because of some pretty bad things, which we'll be going over here in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at how this all started. So Potemer's channel had only started back in November of 2019, beginning with just your average Roblox gaming videos that would come from your average 15-year-old. Coincidentally enough, Potemer was actually around the age of 15 when he began making videos. However, after some trial and error, Potemer would start to gain more and more followers typically when he started making Roblox stores content, guessing because that's when the game was in its prime. Then YouTube Shorts started getting really popular really fast, so Potemer proceeded to gain way more popularity by only doing less than half the effort than making long form videos. Good for him. Anyways, Potemer seemed to be doing really well for himself. However, during this he seemed to have had some skeletons in his closet because it turns out that this YouTuber was flying out to meet a 12-year-old while being 16 at the time. And this dude's parents were somehow okay with them meeting up despite the age gap. Don't really know how that happened. Guess bad parenting, but anyways, they had also allegedly had sexual contact, but more on that later. Now, hold on, we need to slow down and talk about this whole 12-year-old thing real quick. So to put it into short terms and to not make things so complicated, basically Potemer was in a relationship with a 12-year-old while he was 16, a 3-year 5-month age difference based on their birthdays. And one day during July of 2022, Potemer thinks it's a good idea to fly out to this girl's state to meet up with her. Potemer had never actually denied meeting her and actually supported the fact with his own words. And obviously a 3-year age gap does not look good at all when Potemer is apparently emotionally manipulative as well. I mean, if you really think about it, a 12-year-old is only just becoming a teenager while a 16-year-old is closer and starting to become an adult, a young adult. The maturity levels are pretty far from each other, which is pretty much what makes it really weird. And possibly illegal if they had sexual contact, of course. But Potemer's response to the allegations is interesting. Potemer made a community post regarding to the allegations thrown against him. It reads, "It really disgusts and saddens me to read all of these hateful comments and untrue replies. The incident everyone is talking about happened nearly 3 years ago. I had just turned 16, my mother and I went on vacation, and I met up with a close friend that was 3 years younger than me. Our mothers arranged it a couple of months in advance. My mother took us to the movies, to lunch, and indoor amusement park. We were all together in public the whole day. People are saying we did things that we didn't do or that I forced her in some way, and it's all lies. Our mothers were there. There were people that are making videos about me with screenshots that are twisted and taken out of context. Today I'm 18 and she is 15. Nothing about our ages is illegal. We are still friends and she is horrified at the lies people are saying about her. All of this has really taken a toll on my mental health and it makes me question if I should keep doing YouTube. It was always my goal to make wholesome content that my younger siblings could watch and parents could feel safe having their kids watch. These disgusting comments make that impossible. Alright, so if you only just heard about this drama, haven't watched any videos exposing Potemer or anything, and read this post, Potemer does seem innocent, and that's understandable to think that given just this community post. Well, this response I'd say is quite manipulative, and I'm going to be showing you why. Given the fact that Potemer has used tactics to make the incident seem more mild than it actually was, like saying there were parents present, or how some screenshots against him were quote taken out of context, and Potemer basically attempted to explain the situation that the public wouldn't even think twice about, except for some people. Some people called him out, calling the response bad and stuff like that. These comments were removed by Potemer, and he even admits this here, and it's highly believed that he did this to kind of, I guess, hide the comments going against him to better his own image. Why else would he do that? It seems like he doesn't want his YouTube Shorts audience to know what had happened, or apparently happened, basically what he's getting accused for. Now, this is where we begin to talk about the alleged sexual interaction between Potemer and the 12-year-old. Did it actually happen? This is where things begin to become a little complicated, especially for me. Well, okay, first off, someone named Basil confronted Potemer within Discord back in, I think, June of last year, and within this conversation, Potemer does admit to what appears to be, of course, having sexual contact with this 12-year-old while he was 16. He says, I honestly wasn't really comfortable with doing it. She just immediately grabbed my hand and took me somewhere and had no saying. She knew how I wouldn't do anything about it, and she was right. I didn't really consent to it. What's weird about this is how Potemer, the 16-year-old at the time, is saying he didn't really consent to a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old. Just think about that for a second. Anyways, this is where things start getting more weird. A couple months before Potemer said this, not after but before, he claimed that the interaction was with consent. And months after Potemer said it wasn't with consent, remember in the confrontation with Basil, Potemer and the victim now say that the whole thing never happened. And that Potemer only said it happened because he was apparently pressured into claiming that sexual contact did happen. And so more recently, Potemer's mom gave a little message on Potemer's behalf. It's not him saying this, it's his mother on his behalf. Had to clear that up. But this message may or may not clear things up. So let's look at this real quick. It says, okay, first off, I am autistic. A lot of the stuff I get asked can be really confusing because I process reading and talking slower than most people. For the conversation with Basil, I shouldn't have said sexually assaulted. That was totally wrong, the wrong word. That's whenever he said he didn't consent. He also said that he was sexually assaulted. He says, that was totally the wrong word. I just didn't come up with the right response fast enough, and that was my bad. Everything in all the screenshots involving my case felt like I was being interrogated, and I said stuff I didn't mean or wasn't true because I was astronomically overwhelmed. The 12-year-old is telling the truth. There was no sex. We were only in the bathroom for like a second because our moms were following us around. I've already apologized to her for being manipulative after we stopped being friends. I only was like that to her because I missed her, and I know it wasn't okay. We don't really talk much anymore, but I still think of her as a friend, and we are only in contact right now because of all this drama, which I guess can make sense. Things just keep getting more interesting though. Back on the response Potemer made on his community post, the fact that his parents were there kinda do add up in my opinion. However, what are we left to believe? That they actually did it on the trip? Or they were really in the bathroom for only a second? It's hard to even decide what would even be true because the amount of times Potemer has changed the story, which also makes it harder for me to cover. But hey, I'm doing this for y'all. Anyways, something to take note is around a week ago at the time of making this video, a fellow YouTuber by the name of Guamgo made a video about Potemer that gives us some information that could maybe help us a little bit with this whole thing. Now, a clip from the victim in the video being confronted by Guamgo has surfaced. It's pretty interesting, so here you go.
Why did you say that it's true, if it wasn't true?
Because we had a whole plan about it, and we thought that was gonna cover up a whole thing. But we thought it would just be like, okay, fuck, yeah, totally, it happened.
Cover up what?
Huh?
However, when she was asked to clarify by what she meant by cover up, she quickly backtracked, claiming she never said that.
If you wanted to cover it up, why didn't you just say it wasn't true?
That's the problem. He didn't want us to say
No. You just
I already
said
just said it.
that your entire reason was to cover something up. What was it what you're trying to cover up?
Oh no, I wasn't saying covering up.
Yes, I have the recording. Yes, you did.
Does that seem kind of odd to you? Maybe there was a cover-up, which could explain why Potemer and the victim abruptly denied the thing even happening after Potemer had confirmed it numerous times. Although, even considering all the evidence, I don't think it confirms nor denies the allegations. But that whole backtracking shit with the allegations that Potemer and the victim did is just really weird. There are some more details in Guamgo's video, like both mothers of the 12-year-old and Potemer being confronted. Okay, before I go any further, whenever I say 12-year-old, I don't mean the victim is 12 now. They were 12 at the time. I'm just calling them the 12-year-old to remind you how young the person was at the time of interacting with this 16 going on probably 17. Now, for this, I feel like it's fair if I don't restate everything in Guamgo's video and leave it to his videos. If you feel like going further in depth on that confrontation and other little details if you're really interested in this case. But I will say that allegedly, both of the mothers have contradicting stories about that trip between Potemer and the victim, the 12-year-old at the time. But like I said, if you want to know more about that specific part of this drama, then feel free to watch Guamgo's damn, Guam Go's videos on the situation. I'm not covering that part only because I'm focusing this video more on Potemer and the victim. Hope that's somewhat understandable. Anyways, regardless if Potemer and the 12-year-old did have sexual interactions or not, this doesn't make Potemer innocent. The age gap still isn't okay no matter what. Feel like that's kind of obvious. And this age gap can also be considered illegal according to a quick Google search. Now, if what Potemer had said is true, which is him and the girl being in the bathroom for only a second, or according to his mom on his behalf, I'm not sure how the law will even deal with that. I mean, let's say they didn't do it. Like, none of this excuses the fact that Potemer is just a weirdo, bro. I mean, think about it. Potemer and the 12-year-old met not in real life, but on a Discord server. That sound kind of familiar? And Potemer was aware of the age gap when they were talking, obviously. The fact that Potemer let this relationship go to the point where he would go out to meet her is just, it's super weird, and I don't really see why Potemer would even begin to get in a relationship with someone so young. I mean, Potemer was apparently manipulative at the time. I think he still is, and he mentally abused her according to him himself. Even if it is quote old news, that doesn't make it any better at all. A 12-year-old, someone that was not even in high school yet at the time, while Potemer was in high school, probably still is, I'm not sure. The maturity levels aren't right at all. They're so far from each other, and as of now there are multiple police reports according to Guam Go's video that have been filed, and the police department of McKinney is apparently starting a real investigation. It's big news if this is like actually genuinely happening. Take a look at this.
Multiple police reports have already been filed with the McKinney Police Department, and now they have all the evidence needed to start a real investigation. Since you keep claiming there hasn't been an investigation, well, now there is.
Oh, and also, literally the FBI could be involved according to this Discord message by Guam Go. Not confirming that they will, but hey, you never know. So no, the title wasn't completely clickbait at all, and Potemer will be investigated by the police and may or may not have an arrest warrant sometime soon. So let's talk about everything we covered. Potemer was in a relationship with a 12-year-old while he was 16. He flew out to meet her with parents present and may or may not have had sexual contact on this trip. I feel like it's still up for debate, but we will probably find out when the police get done investigating this weirdo. I personally think that there's more to that trip than we know about. I personally think there is. There's just a part of me that really feels like it. I don't know what y'all really think. Y'all can let me know, but that's just how I feel. Especially because the victim could be covering something up, as we've seen earlier. Even if they didn't have sexual contact, or even if they did, it's still weird. Like I've said numerous times in this video. I don't think Potemer's innocent. Kind of dislike the guy since he made this video way harder to make, because of how complicated he made the situation seem by changing the story like literally so many times, I can't even count. But really, on a more serious note, I don't think Potemer is a predator like others may claim, but he could be a future one, who knows. I just really think the guy has some issues. I mean, he met a 12-year-old on a Discord server while he was 16 and literally went out to meet her, bro. Like, how is that even acceptable? Anyways, that's enough of me talking about Potemer, so I'll see ya.